Hello, welcome to What's New in Microsoft 365 and Teams. I'm Mark Thompson from supersimple365.com and I'm going to take you through what's new from the 18th of October to the 6th of November. So a couple of changes this week. I'm just testing something that I'm working on with the Inform team. So I've got the green screen behind me and you'll see the slides are a little bit different, but I'll tell you all about that in a couple of weeks. So for now, we're going to look at our updates. So we have updates from Office.com, Outlook, Planner, SharePoint, Stream, Teams and Visio. As always folks, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like the video, subscribe, turn on your notifications. YouTube love that sort of thing. It makes a real difference to getting the message out there, and if you do that, you'll be really helping the channel and the work that I do. Okay, so let's get started with something that's coming to Office.com. So Office.com is getting a new update. So I really like Office.com. I know a lot of people use it as their starting place for their digital day. It just means that you get an update on the files and what's going on around you. So just consider having a look at that. But back to this update, it applies to Office.com and the Office app for Windows, making it even easier for you to find your content. Let's have a look at the screen there. You can see that the person who's looking at this screen, they've got some recommended actions, a meeting that's coming up, looking at a nice easy way into accessing a reply to a message they've got. They can add something to do they want to, so it's picked up something that someone has said in Outlook and added to do. But these updates apply to the homepage, my content and create updates. I'll probably expand on that near the time when there's more information, because it's quite a bit in the future, isn't it? So we're looking at early to late January. But in the meantime, folks, have a look at Office.com and see whether that's a good place for you to start your day. Maybe bookmark it and go there. Okay, so let's look at something that's new in OneDrive. Just the one thing this week, and this is just a bite-sized update. Quickly stylize your photos by applying filters. This also applies to SharePoint as well. And this should be rolled out by late November. Now, I told you over the last couple of sessions about updates coming to images and photos in OneDrive and SharePoint, where you can resize them, you can stylize them, work on them. So this is just another update to that. So look out for these changes. You're going to get much more control over images in OneDrive and SharePoint soon. And now we're going to have a look at updates in Outlook. So the coming soon button is coming back to Outlook on Windows. So it's going to give you a preview to the new location for mail, calendar, people, tasks, etc. So if we have a look on here now, we can see that this menu is now on the left hand side. We can see the calendar, people and some applications as well. And you can see that you can have to do, Yammer, bookings are there. Now if you're a SharePoint user, you'll be familiar with the way that menu has moved over to that left hand side at the top, and I think you're going to see a lot more of this in Microsoft products where that menu moves up there from the bottom or elsewhere. And as most people use widescreen displays now, not everyone of course, but a lot of people use widescreen displays, so you got a little bit more real estate at the side. I think this kind of makes sense and I like this update. So this is due mid to late November. So remember, this is for you to get the coming soon slider if your organization lets you, so that you can turn on this feature. So look out for that. Also in Outlook, so this is a bite-sized one, text predictions in Outlook for iOS and on Android. Now this has been around in the US and Canada for a while, but the rest of us are getting it November to late January. You can see there's two screenshots there. One's Android, the other is Apple. So similar way of working, you swipe and then you'll get the suggested text. Okay, so we have an update for Planner, just a quick one. Rich text and images in Planner task notes coming sometime over the Christmas or holiday period between mid-December and February. So I think you've seen me talk about this a few times. So you've heard me talk about the ability to have rich text in email topics, in the subject, sorry, in forms, in the questions there as well, and now Planner. And I think I even said this last time, you're going to see more and more places where it's only plain text at the moment, getting rich text. Now this is for for the main app only, so the mobile application it won't come to that yet, and it will convert it automatically to plain text. But look out for that, folks. I really like the idea of being able to add a little bit of rich text to those notes. Okay, let's have a look at what's new in SharePoint. So the site creation experience is getting some improvements. Now, I know this won't apply to all of you, but there are a lot of people who get to create sites. So it's going to be easier for site creators to select the right type of sites. If you look at the screen now, you can see it's coaching the person through choosing a team site or a communication site, and it's telling them the features of each of those to help them make the right decision. So we're getting new graphics, expanded site descriptions. I think you just saw those descriptions on the previous slide, and additional context for the permission levels. And you can see there's good information on those. And each of these has got a little information radio button that you can click on or hover over for more information. So this is coming mid-November, so anytime now, up until mid-December for most people. Although some organizations and some people will see it a little bit earlier. Also in SharePoint, we've got something that's a little bit late. Private drafts for SharePoint pages and news pages. So this is the ability just to create a private draft that even the other editors can't see. And I saw some chatter about this on Twitter when I shared it. Some people don't see the point, but I do see the point of having a nice, easy ability to have a draft where you don't have to understand too much about SharePoint to be able to use this. You want to create a private draft, tick the button and you get it. So I think for regular users who aren't that into SharePoint but do have some publishing responsibilities, I really like this. But look out for that, folks, early, so anytime now to mid-November. Now, I've talked in the past about this menu going off on SharePoint, going up to the top left hand corner, and they're adding to it. So they're adding the lists to that. So it's a new entry point into lists. So you click onto lists and you can see over here on the right hand side where the person's looking at my lists, some favorites. So I think that it's just bringing lists more to the surface, and I think that's quite a nice addition. Look out for that over the coming weeks. Moving on to Stream. So we've had quite a few updates with Stream recently, haven't we? So this is the Stream that runs on SharePoint. So there's a new version of Stream. So we're now looking at the ability to generate video captions for Stream built on SharePoint. So old users of Stream, you know that you've had lots of functionality that the new version doesn't have or hasn't kept up with. But they're working on this. It seems like every couple of weeks there's new features coming out. So this is for editors or owners of videos stored on OneDrive or SharePoint. So it's the ability to generate the closed caption file in English. So if we look at the screen over on the right hand side, you can see that we've gone into the settings. So look at the top right hand corner. We've gone into the settings and we then got the option there to create English captions. And people who look at your videos, they would just access this via the closed captions button, and that is due early to late January. So another one that's actually pushing into next year. I guess we're seeing more and more of that now, and there'll be a little bit of a lull over the holiday or Christmas period. But that's something to look forward to in the new year. Okay, and I think this is great. So you know how it is when if you're a content creator and you create videos for your organization, you can see how many views you've had, but you don't really know when people are dropping off or how long should your videos be. Should they be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes? And I guess it depends on the demographic in your organization. So it may be that younger people want to look at shorter videos, but people who are used to looking at longer content. But how do you know when people are dropping off your videos? Well, we're going to get viewership retention. So this is for the owners of the videos stored in OneDrive and SharePoint, and it just lets you look at key moments. And those key moments include at what point do people drop off your video. So that might just help you fine-tune the content that you share in your organization. That is due over the next couple of weeks, but may run into mid-December as well. Okay, so let's now look at what's new in Microsoft Teams. This is a big one. This has been super popular when I've talked about this. This is the co-organizer role coming to Teams meetings. So if you are an organizer, then you're going to get the ability to assign the co-organizer role to up to 10 people. Now this graphic here, this doesn't show it, but if we look at this, we see who can present. So we're going to get a button around here somewhere, and we can just select. These have got to be people who you've invited, and you're going to get the ability to use a drop down and turn those into co-organizers. So this is great for people who have to organize meetings for other people, or somebody else organizes their meeting, or there's a team meeting where different people, but maybe some weeks they're there, some weeks they're not. It just means that you're not stuck in a meeting where you can't do anything. But let's have a look at what you can do. You can access and change the meeting options, bypass the lobby, admit people from the lobby during a meeting, lock the meeting. So if you've got a meeting where once people are late, actually you don't really want them turning up, so you can lock those meetings as well, and you can change other people's roles. What you can't do is create and manage breakout rooms, but remember folks that the breakout room manager role is available or is coming very soon, so that's why that hasn't been included in this feature, and there's other things that you can't do with the attendance report and other things. So that is due late November, so the next few weeks into early December. I think that is going to be a super popular feature. Now Microsoft Teams tab actions are moving. So let me just set the scene a little bit. You know that when you go into a team, go into a channel, then across the top you have your tabs that go across. Now when you go into a tab, let's say it's a website, up at the top right hand corner you've got some controls. Now some things, if you're a tab owner, you use in the drop down, and then other things in that top right hand corner, but they're really easy for users to overlook. So I think this is going to be really nice. Let's have a quick look at it. So this applies to all tabs in chats, channels and meetings. And let's have a look at this now. I've just expanded it a little bit. So the ability to expand it, to refresh the screen that you're looking at, go to the website, so that just takes you to the location that you're looking at, and you can copy a link to it if you want to. And then there's some of the controls for people who've got for the team owners as well. Okay, so that I think is a really nice move, just to tidy up the lucky tabs a little bit. And that is due mid-November to early December. Okay, so another big one, Q&A in Teams meetings. Folks, I think this is a big deal. So I already have this. So when I go and look at this, I already have it. It's nice and easy to use. So you might be familiar with this type of functionality from Teams live events. And this just means that you can add that similar functionality to a regular Teams meeting. Now I saw some people saying, isn't this duplicating the chat? And I don't think it is. I think it's a much more structured, nicer way, and you get more control over it as well. So let's have a quick look. So you go to the plus sign, just like you're adding a normal tab to your meeting, and we find the Q&A, and you add that, and then you've got some options to choose. What can attendees do? So if you want like a really tightly controlled meeting, you can have that. So we've got the ability to ask questions for attendees, be able to respond. Allow organisers to moderate attendee conversations. So do you want that? So organisers, did you see that there's like an S on the end? So that ties into the previous feature that I just told you about. So I think that is super exciting. Go and have a look at that now, folks. Have a little play with Meeting. If you're not sure how to work it, then maybe hop over to the blog, and I've got some links on there, or just set up a test meeting and have a little play. It's really intuitive, really easy to use, and I think you're going to really like it. Now it's available to look at now in public preview. That just means that you can use it, but it may change, or there might be some changes to the functionality. Okay, so let's start wrapping up Teams with some things that are late. So background effects for people who use Teams on the web, that's been pushed back a little bit to late November. Focus time experiences in the Viva Insights Teams app. Now, Microsoft have put this on hold, so they put a note out saying they've had some feedback, and I'm guessing it wasn't good because they've decided that they're going to put it on hold temporarily while they look at it. So when that comes back out, I'll update you again. Another item on hold, variable playback speed for Teams meeting recordings. So I've talked about this in the past. I think it's a great feature. If you've missed a meeting, you can catch it up with it in 1.5 times, double time speed. So I think it'd be a great way to catch up with meetings. But it's been pushed back again, so maybe as late as late November. So we'll see when you get that. Another thing that's been delayed a little bit is the Teams meetings recording auto expiration in OneDrive and SharePoint. So bit of a mouthful. So this is just a feature where your organization can set a predefined time for your meetings which you have got saved, your meeting recordings saved to OneDrive or SharePoint, and they can set a default time for those to expire, so delete automatically. Now don't worry about that, because you will be notified if that applies to one of your videos that you're responsible for. But that's been pushed back to next year now. I'm not sure what the delay is with that, but that's quite a chunky delay, isn't it? So near the time we'll probably revisit this. Another thing that's been pushed back a little bit: fluid live components in Teams chat. Now this is due over the next couple of weeks or into December, but if you go into your settings in Teams and if you're able to go into, say, developer preview, then you can see this now. And I've used this and it looks really nice. So this is real screenshots from mine. So if you go into a chat, if you see down here, you're going to get this new icon. So when you click on it, you then get these live components that you can use: the bulleted list, the checkpoint, so the checklist, numbered list, a paragraph that you can work on, a table, a task list. And I think this is a brilliant way to work together. Now, I work closely with a comms team with Inform and one of their clients. Now the paragraph, when you're crafting how you're going to say something, or crafting a sentence or a paragraph, I think that's just a great way for you just to drop it into the chat, all work on it together, lock it, and then that's the thing that you do. But you can work on checklists together and all sorts. Really like this. So if you haven't seen it yet, pop into developer mode or preview mode and have a look at it. But remember that your colleagues need to be in that mode for you all to see that as well. So expanded reactions, so a little bite-sized update for you. Expanded reactions coming to Teams. So we're looking at the new year, so it looks coming in January, and it's some really fun emojis there. So my team use them all the time. It's just the nature of the team that I'm in. We use emojis all the time to respond to stuff and just to communicate with each other. But you can see there it's a much richer looking set of emojis. Look out for that, folks, in the new year. Okay, so we have some Visio news. So we don't talk about Visio very often, but this I think is quite exciting. So Microsoft 365 is going to include the core functionalities of Visio at no extra cost. So this is for you and your colleagues if you're on a commercial plan, and if we're talking about you being in the workplace, you probably are. It includes the core functionalities of Visio. Now you can access this at office.com or at visio.office.com. Now I know that one of my colleagues has said they've already got this, so it's definitely worth you having a look. I think it's just a great way to have a look at the basic functionality. So you can't do the full suite of options, and Microsoft say if you're a proper Visio user, you still need a license. But for the rest of us to do some basic stuff or just have a look at Visio, I think that's a really nice change. So that's due anytime now, but might be as late as late January for some people. Okay, folks, so this brings us to the end of our update. So if you're interested, if you frequent Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, if you like podcasts, if you prefer to read stuff on the blog, or you like to get a newsletter, then you've got all those options. So do a search for @SuperSimple365, hop over to the blog. Now the blog's got a new layout, so I've tried to make it a little bit easier for you to read. So all of the stories are just put by application. Remember, I used to do it by time. So what's late, what's coming soon, and then some full updates, and then some look out into the future for the ones to watch. But actually, I've just got all the Outlook together, all the Teams together, all the SharePoint together. And what I also do now is that I just give you a one paragraph snippet of each story, just so that you can read the whole blog in maybe 5 minutes. And if any of those catch your eye, you'll see at the end of the story, if I've done a full version of it, just click on there to read the full version, and then you can go off and I'll open a new window, you can read all the detail and then carry on with the blog. So hopefully that's a little bit easier. Maybe go over and check it out and let me know in the comments if you like it. But for now, folks, we are done. I'll see you in a week or so with some more updates. Thank you for listening and watching.